A very good afternoon to all on frequency. This is Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India, transmitting from Three Rivers, South Africa. We will be starting on top of the hour, which will be 1300 UTC or 3 p.m. South African time. I will cut carrier for a while. Whoever wants to quickly test the transmissions before we start, we shall do that now. This is ZA6YI, cutting carrier. And about a minute or so before top of the hour, I'll just play the signature tune again. This is ZA6 Yankee India, cutting carrier. Feel free to do test transmissions. This is Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India. Just doing some tests before we start. Still got about 4 minutes to go. So if you want to quickly check carrier, hello Leon, I saw you. ZS1 Mike. A nice photo you had up there. Just hope it's all going to work out today. Anyway, let's just see who we do have on in the meantime. We've got Leon on, ZS1 Mike. We have Nigel, 2 Echo 0 Echo Hotel from the UK. We have Ed on, Papa Yankee 2 Radio November from Brazil. And we have Mike, Golf Sierra Mike Juliet Whiskey. Those will be the stations coming on in about 4 minutes' time. I'll just cut carrier. I started the YouTube run earlier, so I don't want it to hang in the air there. Hence me coming on and just keeping the YouTube net frequency occupied, so to say. Okay, this is ZA6YI standing by. Anyone for tests, that will be great. Right, a very good afternoon and good morning and good evening. This is Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India operating the worldwide DATV Net today. We wish to welcome everyone on frequency. And firstly, we wish to express our sincere condolences to all the members in the United Kingdom for the loss of their wonderful Queen. This is a tragic story which is obviously felt worldwide. So, Mike, and to all, our deepest condolences, and it's the start of a new era, and we are all thinking of you guys in the UK. Today, we also wish to thank the Qatar satellite company for allowing us to piggyback on their wonderful satellite. Also wish to thank AMSAT DL and AMSAT UK, and of course the British Amateur Television Club, for all their inputs and assistance which has made this wonderful satellite possible to all. On frequency today, we have a number of stations. I did mention earlier just in the test, but we have Leon, ZS1 Mike, who's going to show us something quite fascinating with the X-ray unit he's got going and what he can do with it. It gives quite a lot of scope and perhaps an idea to things that one can do in the future with that type of technology. So that'll be interesting. Hello to you, Nigel. I believe you got your setup working very well to Echo Zero Echo Hotel in the UK. Hello, Ed. Usual great signal pumping in here. Papa Yankee 2 Radio November from Brazil. Hope you well. And we have Mike Golf 0 Mike Juliet Whiskey. That's all I have on the net, so it's going to be a small net. I just want to see on the other. I see Sepp was on, but I don't see him logged in, DL7SEP. But anyway, so, Leon, if you wouldn't mind getting your engine started, and let's enjoy what you have to show us. ZS1 Mike from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India.
Okay, thanks, Gary. Just check, is the audio there? Okay. Yeah, it seems to be there. Okay, yeah, good afternoon to everybody. There are no good morning people on today, but there is a good afternoon. And no, good morning is Ed. Yeah, good morning, Ed. There's no good evening. Saru is not here. Okay, I have a slightly long show, so I must stop waffling. Okay, right. I took some X-ray pictures, and I shall show you some of them now. Okay, firstly, the first picture I took is of this radio. Small little portable radio that I bought on the Air France flight some time ago. And I took a X-ray picture of it. I hope the audio is still there when I switch to the other camera. Let me just see. I hope the audio... Yeah, it is there. Okay, on the left-hand side, you can clearly see the loudspeaker and some coils and tracks and stuff. Towards the upper right-hand side, you can see two IF cans. Just below them, you can see there's a big IC sitting there, and all sorts of bits and pieces. Anyway, so that is the radio. The next one I took a picture of is an electronic timer. Where is it? Yeah, it's just an industrial timer. It looks like this. And I just slapped it under the X-ray machine, and what we got was this. In the top section, the dark block on the top is the relay inside, and then towards the bottom left you can see the actual timing IC and some components. I think those are resistors. It looks like fuses. On that circular thing in the middle, I'm not sure what it is. I think it's a pot core. They have a very funny type of switch mode supply in this thing because it runs directly off mains. But the guts inside actually runs on 12 volts or something. And then you see those other components with the two little stripes, two little vertical stripes. Those are diodes. That's what a diode looks like. That's the actual two metal blobs with a bit of silicon in between. So those are diodes that you see there. Right, that is the electronic timer. Then I also took a picture of an older electromechanical timer. Oh, the camera can't focus that close now, so but it's still got plastic gears and stuff, and it's got a, oh no, it actually did focus. It's got a little stepper motor inside. It runs on 1.5 volts, I think, in the end. Yes, it runs on 1.5 volt DC. They come out standard with the a NiCad cell, a single NiCad cell inside a button cell, but they don't last very long. So I just bring out the leads there and where the mains used to go in, and I just connect a 1.5 volt D size cell on it, and it runs for years. But anyway, its X-ray looks like this. On the left-hand side, you can see the two pole pieces. Well, on the very left-hand side is the coil, and then you see the two pole pieces with a permanent magnet rotor between them. That's the little motor, which then steps in 1 second steps. Just below that, to the right, is a small IC, the 8-pin IC, which is the actual electronics. Above it is the crystal, and that obviously runs on so many megs, and it gets divided down, and it gives out a two-phase 1 pulse per second thing that go to that little motor. Gets geared down to drive all the plastic gears that you can see there, more towards almost in the center of the picture. And you can see the big circlip, steel circlip holding the lot together. And just to the right of that, you can see a spring and some bits of metal. Those are the actual mechanical contacts that make, make and break. It's got a normally open and normally closed contact. And on the very right-hand side are the terminal connections going to those contacts. So that's the electronic timer inside. Right, what was the next thing that I did? Oh, then I took a picture of me Pluto, which is in use now, so I'm not going to show you that, but I shall show you the X-ray. No, that's the wrong one. That's a Pluto. Now, unfortunately, because the Pluto is a multi-layer PC board, you don't get very clear pictures of it because it's copper with detail and more copper, so yeah. But you can see some of the tracks and things. Gary, you said the big IC. The big IC is the one in the middle of the picture. Above it is another smaller one, and to the right is another one. But yeah, that's part of the Pluto. It's not the whole of the Pluto, but say 70% of the Pluto's board. Okay, after the Pluto, I took a picture of, let's just go to the minicam again. I took a picture of my remote. This is the remote that I use for switching on and off my PA outside. And it looks like this. No, sorry, this is the one on my keys. This is a dual button one. That's the let me rather show you. That's a single button one. Oh, come on, remote. No, why? I've got a picture of the other one as well. Oh, somehow I've lost it. Yeah, I only have the picture of. Oh, hang on. There's the single remote. That's one. That's the single button remote. That's what it looks like in real life, and that's its X-ray. You can see at the top, there's only one button. On the left-hand side is the battery. It's one of those little 12-volt batteries. You can't see it too clearly on this one. There are actually 8 button cells inside that thing. 8 1.5-volt button cells that comes as a complete 12-volt battery. Then just to the right of that, you see the little IC, the 8 legs of the IC. The circular blob is the screw that holds the thing together. Just slightly above and to the right is the button, the single button. And to the right of that is the LED in the top right-hand corner. And below that, the rectangular blob is the crystal. There's not much more in that thing. It's really... Okay, that's the single button one. Then I also took a picture of the one on my key bunch. That's the one. This is the same thing, it's just a 2-button one. And where is his X-ray? There's the other remote. Okay, that's the dual button. Now this one you can see the battery better. If it's nice and dark in your room and you've got the monitor fairly bright, you will see, you can actually see the individual cells. On the left-hand side of the battery, you can see the partitions. And you can see this one has got, it's flipped around from the single button one, but you can see there are 2 buttons now. And on the far left is the crystal. Okay, that's the remotes. What else did I take a picture of? Remote. Okay, then I took a picture of, let me just put my keys away before I lose them. I took a picture of a normal microprocessor. I think it's a microprocessor. If I can find its thing, remote micro, there it is. Okay, that's what it looks like inside. You can see the 99% of the chip is just a copper to get everything together in the center where the actual gubbins is. It's just, you just need the space for all the legs. Okay, so that's that one. What do we have after that? The micro. We have an analog to digital converter. I shall just get to that. That's what that looks like. I actually got 4 of these. I haven't fired them up, but they seem to be very, very useful. They can take, I think, 8 analog inputs, and it gives it out as RS422. So that's what it looks like, and that's its X-ray. To contrast, I actually took this picture first, and I had the camera setting onto a higher ISO rating, so it's very grainy and very contrasty. Okay, that is that thing. Yeah, and then I took a picture of my little torch. That looks like this. That little torch, it's a LED torch. It's got 4 batteries inside it, 4 AAA. Yeah, 4 AAAs. And that looks like that. It's too big to fit in the whole frame of the camera, but those are lithium AAA cells. Now you can actually see through the metal shell of the lithium cells, and the positive button on the tips of the battery. You can see through them, but inside the actual elements of a lithium battery is mainly copper foil, and that's very dense, so the X-rays won't easily go through that thick roll of copper. And at the bottom is the press button with a spring. Okay, let's see, what else did I have? Micro. Okay, and the last one is a GPS navigator memory chip. It's this module. It's what's used on the marine GPS navigators. That's the whole set of maps of South Africa, sea maps. And let me just get it to there. And inside it looks like that. It's got a EEPROM inside. You can still see what was gold contacts on the left-hand side now. And it's actually got space for 2 chips. You can see all the vias and the tracks and things in there. Okay, right. That's as far as it goes for the X-rays. Now, let me just get back to myself. Okay, right. So, I told you people I play very, very safe. I'm very scared of the X-rays and so on, so I have great respect for it. So many years ago, it's more than 30 years ago, I built this, my homemade Geiger counter with its Geiger tube. I've got several tubes. This one is sensitive to X-rays, gamma rays, and beta rays. It does not see alpha rays. So I checked, and where I stand with the trigger of the X-ray machine, I always make sure I have a brick wall between me and the machine, and there's nothing on that side. But if you put this tube, the Geiger tube, just around the corner, you know, so that it's within line of sight. Not even in the beam of the X-ray machine, but just within line of sight of the machine, several meters away, it picks it up like loud and clear. So, yeah, but if you're behind a brick wall, and especially I always radiate downwards with the X-ray machine. So there is some scatter, but it's obviously much attenuated, but this will pick it up. But as long as you're behind a brick wall, it's fine, there's nothing. So, now, my main talk is, do you know how many radioactive things you pass by every day? Well, depending on what your interest is and so on. The first thing I want to show you is, I have a bag full of them here. There's a bag full of, that is americium. It's a man-made element. It is radioactive. There's a whole bag full of them. There's just one. Now, what this is, let me just, the camera is sitting at 90 degrees. It's a metal disc. This comes from smoke detectors. So this is a normal iron plate, whatever metal. And right in the center is a small little metal strip, which the ends go through 2 holes and they bend over. I don't know what metal that is. It's relatively soft. I don't think it could be brass, but it's not the color of brass. And it's been electroplated on this side only, that little strip, with americium, which is radioactive. It emits mainly alpha particles, which are very weak. Alpha particles, 2 inches of normal air stops it. So, at one stage, due to my curiosity, I ordered this on eBay. It's a spinthariscope. What it is, it's just a piece of sticky tape. It's a piece of paper with a circular cutout and sticky tape. And on the sticky side, they coated it with zinc sulfide activated with silver. Now, that's a process I've tried, but it's not something you can do at home. You can buy pre-sensitized zinc sulfide. I'll have to get some from, I think, United Nuclear or somebody sells it. That stuff glows when it sees radioactive material. So what I did, I took 4 of these, and you can't put it on top. The alpha radiation is so weak. You have to, they tell you here, you have to put it on the actual side where the powder sits in the glue of the tape. So I put 4 of them underneath this thing. And if it's in the middle of the night and you sit there and you wait until your eyes have really, your AGC is opened up, you can see the 4 blue dots of radiation. If you turn this around, it cannot even go through the plastic of the sellotape. It blocks it. That's how weak the alpha radiation is. So I took a picture of that, which is there. This is taken, that's my other camera 1 shining on the sides. So I'll just switch that off. That is the four spots of americium glowing. But this is a long, many seconds time exposure in total darkness. And yeah, so you can see the americium, it radiates alpha particles. It also radiates a little bit of gamma radiation as well. Let me just get back to this. So, if I switch on the Geiger counter, first charge it up, it wants about 450 volts on the tube, then I switch it on. You can hear it's picking it up, not much, because it's just very small piece. But if I take the whole bag, you can hear there's quite a bit of gamma rays. Or it could even be beta, but I think they said, I read up on it, and it's mainly alpha, which this won't pick up. I have other tubes with mica windows that's on the front. This one picks up through the side, through the nickel or whatever side. The mica ones can actually pick up alpha radiation. But now comes the interesting part. This thing only works for alpha. This is beta and gamma. So, what is quite radioactive? A normal gas mantle. Listen to that. That's a standard gas mantle for a gas lamp. That's that one. Here I've got a whole mixed bag of gas mantles, and that one is, I think, of an old paraffin one. That really sends it off. Yeah, there's a whole lot of them. Here's a nice old-fashioned one. It's still in its packet. High power mantle, and this was before gas lamps. This is when it was only paraffin. And that also very nicely radioactive. I did, after a lot of shopping around, I did find one type of gas mantle that is not radioactive. I don't know whether it is as bright as the others. That I don't know, because why do they make them radioactive? Obviously to improve the efficiency, to make them brighter. So another thing which I found is radioactive. The rods for TIG welding. The TIG welding rods are thoriated tungsten. 2% thoriated tungsten. Put more. If you have enough of them there, you can hear. They radiate. 2% thoriated tungsten, so there's thorium in them. So yeah, okay. I think that's enough from me and my radioactive stuff. But yeah, there's oh no, my final one. My coup de grace. get this out the way. Many, many years ago, I got, where's the other camera? Switch off from Mauritian. I got this little bottle from a colleague of mine when I was still working at the SABC. They have an olive farm, very famous, Costa's olives. I've got bits of magnesium in here now, but this thing was full of uranium nitrate. Now, I didn't like the idea of the cork, so I put the uranium nitrate in another container, which is at my other QTH in Bredasdorp. Now, uranium nitrate, I don't know what they used in the olive industry, what they used the uranium nitrate for, because it was just there in their lab, and he told me about it, and he said, "Do you want it?" I said, "Yes." It was actually used in photography as well as a negative intensifier. They used uranium nitrate. Now, I washed this bottle. This is now 35 years ago. I washed the bottle and the cork in hot water. And that uranium nitrate, it's a nice yellowish green color. It's like table salt, almost that consistency, but a nice yellowish green. Very radioactive. And I've washed this many times. But even after all the washing, and I mean, as I say, it's I've had it for years now, and it's been washed. It's very soluble in water. It's still got, there must be a trace of uranium nitrate still in this cork. So I keep it away from me. Okay, that's it from ZS1 Mike. Now giving it to Nigel. 2 Echo 0 Echo Hotel for the group from ZS1MM.
Hello. Let's see if we can get some audio. Yeah. Hi, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Greetings from Brazil, Papa Yankee 2 Radio November. Hello, Gary. Nice to see you. Thanks for coordinating the net. And Leon, fantastic presentation. That was amazing. When I saw the topic that you would present the X-ray stuff, I just by coincidence, actually, you're talking about X-ray last week, right? And I saw this cover. I believe it's a magazine dedicated to the X-ray, and this is from 1929. So that was, I believe, by that epoch would be a big and advanced thing. I think it's the X-ray at that time would be like, I don't know, the space exploration that we are living now, just to do the analogy. Very nice, Leon. Fantastic, the capability, all the photographs you took, the Geiger counter, that's really amazing. And the material that you cannot even imagine that could be radioactive, and they are. I'm wondering, I don't know if you guys got there a few years ago, the light switches, we had, I think that's still there, a French company named Piao Legrand. They used to do those light switches, to put on the wall, and also the outlets. They were kind of a very clear, like a beige color when they were illuminated, and when you turn off the light, it will glow. It will really glow, and we're going to be a very light green. And I would like to have a Geiger counter just to measure the radiation those light switches was emitting. I think they still use this kind of radioactive material for the roads, for the highways, to glow during the dark, and that's amazing. Very nice. Thank you for the presentation, Leon. Fantastic. Nigo, unfortunately, your signal was great, your image was great, but we had no audio. I even connected to the YouTube channel to get the transmission from Gary on the YouTube, just to make sure the problem was not with my reception. But unfortunately, it seems that you really didn't transmit any audio, Nigo. So hopefully in the next round you can enable your audio there. I got an update from for the OBS. This update, I think, is available since last week. I didn't update it, but I did this week, and quite a few changes on the LBS. It changes the aspect, and I think I like it better now. It has some, when you position those little photos or those little images, it shows the coordinates and everything. It's easier to centralize things, and also the dashboard, it's more clear. So I like it, the upgrade. I really like it. It doesn't seem to affect anything else, unless the presentation mode and etc. It's better. Okay, guys, that's all I have. It's very nice to be participating on the net today. So I also say hello to Mike, which is the next one, and to Sep, Delta Lima 7 Sierra Echo Papa, which is after Mike. So welcome to the net. And Mike, Golf Zero, Mike Juliet Whiskey, sending to you, my friend. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, right. Sorry for the delay coming on, but good to see everybody again. Firstly, thank you, Gary, for your kind words in this difficult time. Whole UK is, of course, feeling the loss, and also it's been very nice to hear such appreciation coming from all over the world. In fact. So that was very nice to hear, and is helping with getting over the morning. On to other things now. Leon, that set of X-rays, absolutely fascinating. Basically, I want one of those. I'm waiting for you to come up with a video version. That would be nice, but maybe they're not available just yet. But video X-ray, wouldn't that be nice to actually see something working? And I've seen things where you can sort of see like electrons flowing and gate switching and stuff. But that was really nice to see. So thank you for showing us that. And interesting on the radiation. I remember alpha particles don't basically go through a sheet of paper. Beta ones do. But not particularly far, and it's the gamma that you have to worry about because they'll go through lots of things depending on what the intensity is. And I remember working, looking to these places where they dealt with radiation. They have these windows which they looked through, which were many inches thick of leaded glass, in order to reduce the gamma rays to something safe. So that was fascinating. Nigel didn't have any audio from you, as far as I could tell, but it looks like you got a good setup there. So good. And Ed, yes, OBS. There's a new version, 28, and there's a new version of the new version, fixing some bugs, 28.01. I'm still using this current version here. Now, the problem with this new version is that the virtual camera we're using with the scripts and with DATV Easy doesn't work anymore. It's not supported. They've basically upgraded from QT5 to QT6 as the base that it's built on. And that means that all the plugins need to be updated. Well, that one is no longer supported, so it's not going to be updated. And that therefore gives us a problem. So after a bit of moaning about this, anyway, someone came up and told me about DroidCam, which is another developer has developed. So I put something on the BATC web page forum that explains how you might use DroidCam. And then I tested it, but I was away this week up in Bolton for a meeting in Manchester. So I didn't have my PC with the NVIDIA graphics card there to test it. So I thought I'd test it with the Intel chipset, which I've not really used before. And of course, I haven't got a graphics card of any note in that machine. It's just the CPU and integrated graphics. But it worked fine with some adjustments to the script. So that was very positive. And because that plugin behaves more like a camera, then you have to tell OBS what you want from it, and you have to tell it that you want a particular resolution and you want 16 by 9 or 4 by 3, what color space you want it in, and audio rate, etc. and frame rate. Now, I tested it with a frame rate that wasn't 30 or 60, and the audio was choppy, so don't do that. Stick to 30 and throw away every other frame in FFmpeg. That seems to be the best way to do it if you want 15 frames per second. But it worked really well, and that was just on the CPU. So I got reasonable quality video encoding. So I'm happy to explain how to do that if you want to understand how. At some point we're all going to have to upgrade to the later version, but at the moment it's not required. But things will be not supported going forwards, and then you'll have incompatibility between shiny new things we want to use and the existing system otherwise. So that was one thing that I did last weekend. Otherwise, I've not done very much. As you can probably see, the workbench here is pretty empty. Maybe this you can see, this is the GBC KM repeater, which somehow is rebroadcasting QO-100, so they've got it set up to do that. There's a bit of a delay on it. But what I've been doing is I'm hoping... So this is the board for a ride receiver. And this is the button board, which is in a box. So basically you plug this onto the back of a Raspberry Pi, and you plug this in. You plug in a monitor and you plug in a mini tuner, and that's the ride receiver. And this has the remote control on it as well. But my other PCB, now, I haven't got the WonderCam there, so I'm going to have to just turn it round. Hopefully not cause any major disasters in doing it, because this piece of cable is too short really. But I don't know if you can see on the back there, there is the board. Can't easily do that, so I'll maybe do it on another over, but you've seen this board before. But this particular board is the one that has the 25-way GPIO pin on it. And actually I can just unplug it because we don't need to see it working. So this is actually a ports down 4, and a minimal ports down 4 at that. You just disconnect the network cable. With a fan on it, the 25-way D connector, and a power supply chip, which seems to be quite hot, and a Raspberry Pi, and I've just mounted the 7-inch touchscreen in a little 3D printed holder, and I'm just working on actually to design some brackets that hold this back at an angle like that, because these ones are designed to put it vertically, which is not what you want in this case. Anyway, this is sports down, and with this board, the PTT line is the same as the LED line, so in the ride, so I can connect the LED for the ride here and put a ride SD card in it, or I can connect the normal ports down bits and pieces there. But it doesn't do any harm though, as long as you don't want to use that PTT input. So that's what that was, and that's an alternative really to this. But obviously this is much easier and simpler to make. If you just want to ride, you don't need all of those bits and pieces. But you do have to remember that this runs off 5 volts and not 12. Anyway, so that's what I've been doing. Right, I probably bored everyone rigid, so sorry about that. I believe Sepp has joined. I haven't looked at the latest version of the spreadsheet since I put my name in. I don't know if it's DL7 or DL0, but I've got SEP as the 3 letters. So over to you, G0MJW.
Yeah, okay. Hello to all. So audio is running. I'm happy. Okay. I have watched from the beginning, and Gary says Sepp was before here, and so no, I have not really big news, so I have decided for me to only to watch, and now I say something to you. Okay, from Nigel, I didn't receive any audio. Maybe you can fix it on the next step. And Leon, yes, this was really, this is, I think you can hear, this was my Windows says the printer was not connected to the VLAN. This is always when I go to the transmit side. It's on the same frequency maybe. Okay, Leon, very interested your X-ray camera. And very nice to see also the wires in the board, and maybe you can detect a cut when one of the wires have no connection to the other with this camera. But I have also seen on multi-PCB like the Bluetooth, you didn't can see anything about that. Yeah, and I must look, what is the name? The Geiger counter. I have also built a Geiger counter for many years ago. And I have also tested the Geiger counter with the gas mantle. I have it ordered on eBay. And it came here, and yes, this was my first test. Will the Geiger counter works? But this is maybe alpha detection from this gas mantle. And I have read also, yes, old switches. They illuminate when you switch off the light in the room, then you can see this green light. But I think they must be very old. I have tested some of these switches with this green light when you switch off your light in the room, but nothing from then have on my Geiger counter done anything. And I have also read in aeroplanes in the 50 years maybe, they have altimeter, and this altimeter was also the numbers, the turnaround was also with the Geiger counter detection. Yes, that's that. And what I have news for you. I have tested this. We have talked about, I think some of you can remember. The result is bad. -2 dB between this antenna and my helix antenna. But I have a new helix antenna with only 2 turns. So that's that. 2 turns. And in the moment I send also with the 2 turns helix, and this makes in this dish the best signal what I ever get. The best signal. So for transmit and also on the receive side, I have only 0.8 dB on attenuation with this helix from to the LMB. Yeah, that's the news. Not many of news, and yeah, for the United Kingdom members, also my condolence about the Queen. But I think the Queen have lived her life, I think, and so yeah. On the years, it's for all from us time to go, maybe. Okay, so that's from my side, and I think I have it not look on the list, but I think I was the last on the list, so I give it to Gary. It said as 6YI for the group.
Okay, Sep, very, very good. Thanks for coming up. Just want to lock the receiver. And it seems to have locked. Okay, very, very interesting. And just to go through the net, hi, Nigel. Yeah, I think on the next over we'll get your audio. I see you did have to change a microphone. And very interesting from your side, Leon. Yes, fascinating. Yeah, that stuff that you're talking about, you could have got it on old clocks and watches, and I do have an old Spitfire altimeter, which we actually use to see what the pressures are, and one can quite rapidly, well, you can predict 2 to 3 days in advance whether we're going to get rain or not. And that was coated with this luminous paint, which was quite available. You even buy the luminous paint. Watches had it, clocks had it, switches and so forth. But since somebody played with a Geiger counter, they banned all that, so you can't really get that. But it was useful, I must say. And Leon, I was just wondering, excellent pictures and a fantastic presentation. I really like that indeed. But I was just wondering, it seemed that you photographed everything that did not move. And I wonder what happens if you take the Geiger counter and just put it close to your head. Will we also see some radiation? There might be, you know. Anyway, Mike, very good on your doing nothing this week. But even if you do nothing, you still do more than most. So, yeah, very nice on the ride. And you did say you didn't tell us who the ride was made for, but who the ride board was for. But we'll get that, I'm sure, in the next over. And that'll be good to hear. But it looks very good. And even with that little screen, it really looks good. I've got one of your rides, I think, running with a fan outside, actually, dead quiet. Those little fans make a racket. So I got a big one, man. It must be about 70 millimeters by 70 or so. And it really, really is dead quiet, and it pushes a lot of air and keeps the board clean. Yeah, I was quite right. It's 60 millimeters by 60 millimeters. Yeah, Mike, it indeed was a sad bit of news. And no matter the age, Sep, it's always too soon. That's the problem with life, hey? This was a horrendous week. Last week, Sunday, 2 very good friends of mine passed away. And then, of course, the Queen, not a good friend of mine, but we always respected her for the type of human being that she was. Now, my daughter, Natalie, who lives in Holland Park in London, went to lay some flowers today at Buckingham Palace. And she sent me this. She says it was from William, Prince William, when he was a baby. After a fall at Buckingham Palace, the prince cried out for Gary, Gary. A guest who went to help asked who Gary was, assuming it must be a member of the royal household. I am Gary, responded Queen Elizabeth. He hasn't learned to say granny yet. So she just sent this to me as we were on air. I thought that was quite appropriate now that we can mention it. Anyway, it is a tragic event, and it is an earth-shattering event, to be honest. And the end of an era and a new era will start. It's life, but yeah, it's sad. No matter when, it's always too soon. Yeah, I had to smile at your front page there, Ed. I thought, geez, this Ed is very fast. You seem to have the knack of getting things quickly, but then you spilt the beans that you'd already anticipated in Leon's talk today, so you got that all right. But it's the same date, more or less, as Leon's X-ray machine. It's not an X-ray camera, Sep. It's actually an X-ray machine he has there. I just want to say hi to Claudio and also to ON4AAH. Yeah, waiting, no? Waiting, ON4AAH, and then Claudia. They're watching that I could see there offhand. I just want to see if there's anyone else. No, that's about it. Yeah, our summer's starting, guys. It's been a wonderful spring few days, excellent weather. Green trees are becoming green. It's just lovely. You know what spring's like. So it's our turn now. We've had a rather long, coldish winter, so it will be good to enjoy a bit of the warmer weather. That's for sure in the southern hemisphere, and I'm sure Ed's thinking the same. Yeah. Right. So Leon, to you, sir. And I wonder what else you've tried that Geiger counter on. ZS1 Mike to take from ZS6 Yankee India.
Okay, Gary, ZS6YI in the whole group. ZS1 Mike returning, and also a hello to Sep there. And Mike, whom I didn't know was also coming on. Yeah, Gary, I don't have any radioactivity in my head, but I do have a piece of steel here, part of a hammerhead. In 1974, a friend of mine was working on his bicycle, and he had one hammer at the bottom and one at the top, knocking out the cotter pin. And he missed the cotter pin and he hit the one hammerhead onto the other one, and a piece of the hammerhead chipped off, and it struck me right here. And it's still sitting there. So if I hold a magnet here, it really pulls. So I am magnetic, but I'm not radioactive yet. Okay, yeah, Nigel, yeah, beautiful picture, but no audio. You must have missed a button there somewhere or whatever. Okay, yeah, very nice, that magazine cover, Ed. I think you said 1929. Okay, the machine that I've just refurbished is a 1925 machine, which is not the one that I used for the pictures. I did take some pictures with it, but it's a large, cumbersome machine. And in the end, the pictures that I showed you I took with a much smaller machine. It's about this size. You can pick it up with one hand. That thing, you need a crane to lift it. And the output power is the same. It's just like 80 years difference in age or something, because the one that I've used is a small Italian machine. Oh, I can't even remember the name now. It's there in the cupboard. I always put it away when I'm done with it. They both have exactly the same output. The one is just 4 times the size of the other one, and much, much, much older. This is not a very high power one. This is my smallest one. It's 60 kilovolts. I have other ones. I have a 90 one that goes up to 90, and then my Siemens Monodor goes to 105 kilovolts, I think. And then I have the Siemens Biangulix, which has actually got 2 filaments. That's why Biangulix. You can select which filament you want lit, depending on the spot size that you want. That thing, I think, is 125 kilovolts. That's a beast. That's a real big thing. Now, okay, about the movie, Mike. Unfortunately, most X-ray machines, they actually flicker. You know, they've got the 50 cycle. It's like a really bad fluorescent tube. They've got no persistence, and you'll have to synchronize the video camera with the flashing of the actual X-ray. So these are all quite. Those exposures were all about 5 seconds or so. Now that's. What's it, 200 something odd frames on a movie, so not possible at this time. No, not really, to show something moving fast, unfortunately. About the luminous switches, you still get them on there on my one small little lathe. It's the power switch, like that. The original radium tritium that you used to get on the old watches, and I'm talking really old watches, like 70, 80 years and older. That was radium tritium, which was the radioactive stuff. But that's been superseded by zinc sulfide mixtures and things, which is not radioactive. It actually absorbs light and stores it and releases it as visible light. It's mainly UV and near UV that it absorbs, and then it re-radiates it as green. I've got pots and pots, different brands of the stuff, because I have a fascination with that type of thing. But they're all definitely non-radioactive. All the new stuff is non-radioactive. I actually battled to find an old watch. A friend of mine's got one. Where's Martin now, man? We need him. And the watch was so old, the radium tritium, you couldn't even see it glow anymore. But when I brought the Geiger counter to it, it was, so yeah, it's definitely still radioactive. But all the watches you get nowadays, okay, they're mostly LCD now and so on, but if you get a watch with dials or even an alarm clock, it's beautifully luminous, but definitely not radioactive. So don't worry about those switches, they're not radioactive, unless they're over 80 years old. Right, that's that. Mike, you make me worried about the OBS. I don't like changes. If it's for the better, yes, but I'm quite happy with OBS as it is, and if we're gonna get stuck sometime, it's not. That's not good news, unless it performs much better or something, you know. Then, but I always need help with a thing like that. I need help because I'm so illiterate with computers. So that's not good news to me. I've answered your movie thing. Light switches. SIP, no. The gas mantle is definitely not alpha particles, because this tube cannot read alpha. It can only read beta and gamma. The gas mantles are either beta or gamma radiation. Alpha particles, 2 inches of air blocks it. As Mike says, ordinary paper stops it. Even the if you have it on the wrong side of this intensifying screen, it doesn't even show up. So a fraction of a millimeter of anything stops it. So it's definitely not alpha particles that's in the gas mantles. I mean, it's still in the plastic bag here, and there are 1 inch, 2 inches. It goes down, but there's 4 inches and it's still there. Definitely not alpha particles. And this tube definitely, it's metal. It will not read alpha particles, not at all. So gas mantles, I couldn't tell whether it's beta or gamma. I actually do have some tubes that are for gamma radiation only, but they're big. And they need like over 1,000 volts, I think. I haven't managed to get one of them going yet. Maybe I haven't got a good gamma ray source. Anyway, okay. Your helix, Sep, you didn't say what type of dish, because I'm very curious. My very first feed was also a helix, because I like those helixes. They're easy to make. They match beautifully. I just found that for my prime focus dish, it was too narrow. I only illuminated part of the dish. So I clipped the helix shorter, made it shorter. I started off with, I think, 4 turns. So I brought it down to 2 turns, and it was much better. But then I measured the 3 dB point, and I said, so no, it's still too narrow. And then I went over to just a standard patch, and then I'm not using a potty. Just a standard 2.4 gig patch antenna, and that still, for me, performs the best. But if you have an offset dish, it makes perfect sense to use a helix, because you need a much narrower angle with the offset dish to illuminate that thing. So you can perhaps just on your next overset just tell us what type of dish it is that you're using, where your helix works well. Right. Okay, Nigel. The microphone switch, hey? We must switch that on now. And we'll give it to you. 2 Echo 0, Echo Hotel Hotel for the group from ZS1 Mike.
I think I've got sound now coming through. Yeah, okay, we can turn that off. Yeah, sorry about that, chaps. Oh yeah, let's do that one first. Yeah, there's a back view over my shack. It's following the Queen's procession. It's not on mute anyway, but yeah, it's still going on the journey into Edinburgh. By the way, you're not talking about to put a camera back on. That's it. Just takes me a while to find these things. Here we go. Can somebody just check if I'm getting audio out? I think I am. Somebody just want to put on the chat on the web. My sound's coming through okay. No, just put it. Mike, if you want to just say yes. Anyway, yeah. Oh, great audio. Okay, thanks, Gary. Yeah, good day, Gary, Leon, Ed, Mike, and Sep. My week's been doing because of my PR driver, my DL PR driver amp went faulty or I blew it up, whatever. So my mate, I ordered a new one, but my mate fixed it, and as well he rebuilt the second PR amp. So we put the PR amp, I've got my basic setup is port sound 4 into a line mini, then out to the first PR amp and in the shack. Then at the base of the dish, I put the second, or the base of the dish where the amp is, in the input of the amp, I put the other DR preamp, and that's given me extra humph. So where I was running the line mini at 95% gain, which flat out, more or less, it's been able me to get down to 50% gain and go up to 2 3/4, so my picture and everything should be okay. So that's what I've been doing. So hopefully it's more stable. On your first transmission, Leon, you was working fine when you was going through the X-ray machines and photos, but then about just after you shown the Pluto, I lost the picture. Could get your sound and your sound went. I mean, I couldn't get you till we were about two pictures in. I don't know what was going on, but your second over was fine, no problems. So I don't know what it was, just a glitch. So I don't know if it's my end or the system or whatever. But I've got a question on the video or the pictures you're showing on the microwave X-ray machine. Is it the same percentage as you get in X-ray machine? Because obviously when you've got X-ray at hospital, you have to wear gowns so you don't get radiated. So have you got to take the precaution of the X-ray, of the gamma radiations? Be interesting to know, because I'm not saying you're going to use it all the time, but using it frequently, I suppose you've got to check, make sure you're not getting radiated yourself. Yeah, my Ed, I can't remember what he was on about. Mamma mia, if I don't write it down, I've lost it. But yeah, Mike, good on them extra PCBs. Yeah. Well, yeah. Question for Mike, or just a confirmation. Yeah, I did load the latest OBS up, but I had to check it. I had to go back to 27 because, like you say, it knocks all the virtual cams out, and I'm glad I was hunting for one. But now you said that it's not being supported. I'm going to keep on 27 until that fails, or until something more stable comes up. But I say, yeah, the 28, like like Ed, I think Ed said it, I think, about the, or somebody said it anyway, about 28 being better. I thought it was as well, because it was amalgamating things, so it's a pity that the virtual cam's not being supported. But if we can get a workaround, looks like got a workaround mic, that would might be better in the future, but obviously I'll wait until it's been tested more. And there's A to Z to tell me what to do, because obviously I'm a bit literate with software. I know basically around a computer, but that's it. Sep, yeah, your Helix said works better, but I've got a pottery. I've got more. I just got a pottery, but I've got a separate because my pottery and the receiver on the same dish. Well, I couldn't get it to line up very well. So, but I've got a 1.2 transmit dish and a 1 meter dish for receive, and I'm getting about 7 from the beacon, or 6, 7. Probably should get more, but I've got to try and fine tune it. But it's working. It's working at 7, so that's not good. Good about that. Anyway, that's about enough from me. So I'm going to call it over to Ed shortly. Ed, just put it back to test card. Just so it cuts off. Should be getting me test card shortly. Yes, thanks for all the comments about the Queen. It is a sad day. Thursday night when the news broke with BATC net, but I was too upset being a royalist, and so I had 4 bottles or 6 bottles of own brew, and I was a bit intoxicated. But anyway, that's why I wasn't on the BATC net on Thursday. Anyway, enough from me. Ed, big contrary. Thanks for letting me on, and sorry about the first indication that my mic wasn't on. I must remember to check it, make sure it's not muted. Anyway, Ed, enough from me. PY2RN. You got the microphone, and good day to everybody on the worldwide.
Okay. 2 Echo 0 Echo Hotel. This is Papa Yankee 2 Radio November. Thank you, Nigel. Great audio this time. Good transmission. You mentioned about losing Leon signal for sometimes, but during the first presentation of the X-ray, well, for me here was okay. Maybe you got some issues with the reception there. Just as a reference, the beacon, I get the beacon here between D4 and D5, always D4 and D5, and with this level, I am able basically to decode, I would say almost 100% of the signals that go through the transponder, even the smaller ones. Well, it depends on the FAC and the other configurations, but anyways, it's with a D4, D5 beacon, is enough to get almost 100% of the signals going through the transponder here in Brazil. At least not in Brazil. When I say Brazil, it's not very specific because we are very big, but here in the location where I am. Yeah, Gary, interesting. The little ones, they mean grandma, but they say Gary. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, well, my condolences to everybody in the UK and also for the Commonwealth. Understand that she was the queen for many countries. I believe also for South Africa. I know Australia, Canada, and all the other countries. So my sincere condolences for you guys for the loss. and wish you all the best, and go help. I mean, God help that everything keeps and united and then with peace. That's the most important. Okay, Leon, thanks for the more clarifications regarding the X-rays and the radiations. That's very clarifying. And I think Nigel got some questions for you, so I'm gonna be quick here. Mike, thanks for showing what you have done there. Very nice, always very nice assemblies and very interesting. Sometimes I think about to put a terrestrial repeater here, but we have location, we have equipment necessary, but the issue is reception. We should have something very easily accessible. I mean, to receive the signal from the repeater, it should not demand any type of assembly or complicated thing. It should, the guy with a regular satellite set, those receivers, those commercial satellite receivers, DBS2, should be able to receive on maybe 23 centimeters, 1.2 gigahertz. I understand those receivers are able to decode only wide signals. So maybe if we put a repeater transmitting on 1 mega symbols or 1.5, maybe gonna be enough for those regular receivers to decode. So that would be the best way to go, because if those guys rely on assembling the decoder or receiver, stuff like that, it will not take off. So we need to do something easy and as a starting point. So if the people get interested, they will go, further. But we have no tradition on ATV or DATV here. Anyways, but it's never late to start. Okay, Sep, sorry to hear that your 4 dipoles did not work. I mean, it worked, but not with the performance that you were expecting. That was a nice assemble. But that's okay. Helix also does the work, and I believe much better. The number of turns on the Helix is directly related to the size of the dish. So if you have bigger dish, less turns, like Leon said, less turn, we're gonna get a wider pattern. And if you have a small dish, more turns. And Helix, I agree, it's the easiest way to go. Even it's easier than the patch feeder, potty, etc. All right, so that said, back to you, Mike. Golf Zero, Mike Juliet Whiskey. I wish you all a good week coming up, and hope to see you all again next weekend on the DATV Net. 73 to all, greetings from Brazil, Papa Yankee 2 Radio November, living with Golf Zero, Mike Juliet Whiskey. Bye-bye, thank you all.
Right, thanks, Ed. Let me just show you this software running, seeing as it was inquired about. I need to select a different camera to do that, so excuse the staring in the wrong direction for a moment. So, is that going to work? Yes, well, maybe. So here's my laptop. let me just go on to the chat for feedback. I guess you're familiar with Bunny. So what we've got is we've got OBS running here, and it's got this new thing called DroidCam virtual output running. Now DroidCam you can get from GitHub, and it's been updated for the latest version. So you need to install DroidCam, and if you scroll down on this page it tells you how to do it. So that's what I've done. I had to modify my script, so here I've got a new version of my script when I put that on the BATC web page, because this one is a laptop that doesn't have the NVIDIA encoders in it. It has to do something different. So, but the important thing is you need to do this minus video size, minus received buffer. The input is DroidCam video, and the audio is called microphone DroidCam audio. And then I'm using the QO-100 encoder, and I've got all sorts of settings for that. So that's just a script. I always use a script. So when you run that script, this is what you get. And if I go to my other PC, the one that I'm transmitting on, you can see a similar script is running here, which is what's doing the video with the NVIDIA card. So you need graphics acceleration. Anyway, that's what we've got going, and it stopped for the moment because I was fiddling with it, and I think I started up the script again. But if I do this again, hopefully it'll work. So I just run the script. Sorry for the shaky camera work. Never was much of a cameraman. So I'm just piping it to VLC rather than transmitting, and with luck it'll come back in a minute. Oh, I didn't say it was bug free. There we go. There's a bit of a delay between the two streams, of course, because of the way it works, but it's no worse on this coder than on the other ones, as you can probably see. Right, so let's stop doing that and come back to the centre of the camera, the one that doesn't wobble so much. Sorry for the poor quality camera work, but anyway, that's how to do it. But all of that is automated in Easy DATV, so that needs to get updated. And the update is to call the appropriate parameters from the camera, virtual camera, and that's pretty much it. So that shouldn't be too hard to do. No doubt it won't take Dominic very long. Okay, with that, been a good net, 7-3. It's taken a long time this time, so I suspect people are keen to get off. But let's pass it around to Sep, if you're still there. Sep, DL7SEP, G0MJW. Looking for a test card.
Some delay. Okay. Here I am. So many thanks for this interested OBS things what you have done, Mike, and also with your display with Raspberry Pi and so on. Nice stuff what you built. I don't know what you use the 25-pin connector. What is for the display or for what is in use? I don't have checked it in this short presentation. Okay, so Leon, you have asked about my dish. Yes, you are on the right side. This is a offset dish and is only 85 centimeter dish. And yeah, in the moment I can receive my own signal here with a MER of 7.8, 7.9. And this is many more than before with the 3.5 turns. And it's not the transmit side, this is the reception, the sensitivity of the LMB with this two-turn helix. And important is the helix have a diameter of 50 millimeters. The first was I built was 38 or 40 millimeters, and now I am on 50 millimeters, and with this I can tune it perfect to 2.4 gigahertz with more than 30 dB S11 as works perfect for me. And I have also ordered a new dish with 1.2 meters, and maybe when the weather is good with me, I will mount this new dish on my roof, and I will see what goes on with the helix, with this dish, and also with the receive side. The beacon MER I can receive with the 85 centimeter dish when the weather is good and no transmitted on the satellite. Then I got it with 9.4, 9.5 dB MER. Yeah, that's is from this side. So okay, I have understand it's not an X-ray camera, it is a X-ray machine. Sorry for my wrong things about it. Yeah, Leon, but I think the what is the name? The gas mantle. The old gas mantle is thorium, and when I ask the Dr. Google says thorium is an alpha radiator. I don't know, sorry, I didn't have any experience about that. I can only read what says the internet about, and I have took it away from my side, all these radiation things. Only the Geiger counter, I have it here, yes. Okay, so what is the other things? Nigel, yes, so now your audio works perfect. Very good. And yeah, Ed, I think you have the difficult situation in Brazil to transmit and receive on the QO-100, and you make really a great signal on that. Okay, Mike, I have talked about OBS Studio and the things. Yeah, that's done from my side. Many thanks for the net, and I wish you all a good Sunday and a good next week. Many thanks, and I give it to Gary. 73 to all. That was from Delta Lima 7 Sierra Echo Papa, and the microphone goes to Zulu Sierra 6 YI.
Okay, I gave a break because it looked like there was another signal on your signal right in the beginning, Sep. But very good indeed. And thank you very much for the feedback there. Just want to see, am I coming out? Yeah, looks like it. Thanks for the feedback, Mike. Appreciate that. And yeah, bit of code, and then we're back in business with the latest version. But I'm going to hang on for a while. Perhaps someone will sort out a plugin for FFmpeg, but at a later version also. Anyway, all good. And yeah, Sep, your antenna, it looked very good last week. It's a pity it didn't work out, you know, in theory or in practice. In theory, it looks good. And if only it worked half as good as what it looked, you would have been in business, eh? It really did look good. Anyway, these are the things that happen. Right, with that, I'm going to close the net then. We've heard from everybody. Thank you for coming up. Thanks, Leon, for the nice demo today. Leon's on emergency power. We've got load shedding again, crazy in this bloody country. But anyway, I see the UK might go the same way. I hope not. 7-3 all on board, and I will now close the net and open the frequency to general use. This is Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India signing, bidding everyone happy week, guys. See you next week. Cheers, cheers.